being me, dude.
What's up, guys? So I have Landon Porter here. I know so many of you guys are in Landon's group. You guys are very familiar with the gorillas. You have your own gorilla hashtags. Landon, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive into our topic, which is going to be a really cool topic, content funnels, I've been excited to talk to everybody about this. Let everyone who doesn't know you know who you are, what you're about, so that they can most likely join your group and be a part of your like awesome tribe.
I seem way scarier than I really am.
Fact.
Here's the short. I'm a Colorado native. I'm a certified chef. I love the outdoors. I'm a little granola. I smoke pipe tobacco. I curse like a sailor. I've got 2 kids that are now in their teens, and because of that, I quit doing the food thing because nights, weekends, holidays. I got into sales. I spent 15 years doing sales, and I'm a hell of a sales guy. Like, I'm not patting myself on the back. Like, I can really do the sales thing. Like, I can really do like all of the mind trickery stuff that most people think of, like, oh my God. And then one day I woke up and I was like, I don't like you, to myself in the mirror. And so I changed the way I went about doing my sales process. And I created an entire different way to build relationships with people that's all predicated on who I am and not who I need to be for a certain person. And I've been a student of marketing for about 22 years now. And so like marketing and direct response marketing and all of that is like my fascination. So does that bring us up to speed on me enough?
I think so. I think in a nutshell, that's good. You are fucking awesome. And so, guys, for anybody who doesn't know, Landon, I'm sure that a lot of you guys have heard of his group. I've spoken highly of your group. I actually reference your course and you guys in my course because I think you guys do awesome work. And I'm like, this is a great example of how this works out. But your group, his group, guys, is getting clients without being salesy. So for any coaches, consultants, course creators, I think as well, that's a great group for you guys to join. But now I want to kind of introduce this concept of content funnels. So, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So to break this down for everybody who's confused, you hear that and you're like, what the fuck is a content funnel? Like, some of you guys might know what a sales funnel is, and a lot of you guys know what content is. Obviously, you're in the group. But you're like, what is this content funnel? But it's really just a very systematic way to use content as kind of a guidance mechanism, like a mechanism to effectively guide your prospects, your leads or your audience rather, from point A to Z in terms of being introduced to you in the right way, attracting the right people who are then introduced to you in the right way, to become subscribers and customers to your brand. And you guys, I wanted Landon to come in here to kind of help me talk to you guys about this, because Landon and I, we have like a coaching agreement set up. We talk very often. We've talked about this in depth, and you guys are executing this pretty close to fucking perfect, if not completely perfectly. So Landon, I kind of wanted to ask you, what made you guys decide to use like a content funnel type of system? Because you guys were doing it before you and I started even talking about it.
Sure.
So how did that come about with like the treasure hunt? And guys, we'll explain like what it looks like so that you guys can get a very clear picture. But what made you guys decide that this is important, we need to do it this way versus a different way?
Sure. So to paint what a content funnel is in even another way to make my explanation of this, why we did it this way, even make more sense. Every advertisement you've ever seen for whatever brand you're in love with. So you've heard it on the radio, you've seen a TV ad, you've seen it on Facebook, or you've seen it like Google ad, like you've seen their advertising, right? Advertising has been done for a really, really long time. Because we have the ability with the way the internet is now to target somebody, let alone in your own ecosystem, your own community, it just makes sense to put them through a step-by-step process to where they can qualify themselves right? They get introduced to you and what you're about and what this is about and why this might be important to them. But then it qualifies them against your personality, and it qualifies them against your knowledge base and your stance on the position you take around your craft or around your topic. Here's why. As a sales guy, I have two options. I can pick up the phone and dial the phone all day long and call hundreds of people, and then talk to a couple dozen people, and then have a conversation with a dozen people, and then maybe have a couple of clients out of that dozen people. That makes me the filtering mechanism to find a needle in a haystack. Does that make sense? So take that and then flip that. As a sales guy, I can create a system that does all of that work for me, and I can remove myself from that process. For decades, this has been called an indoctrination system, with direct mail and then into email. Email marketing done well takes you have zero idea about this person and this topic, and it brings you all the way up to speed on who they are, what they're about, and what they can offer you about that topic. That's been done in email for a long time. I was looking at our group one day and I was like, I'm tired of answering these same 7 questions because I'm having to be there and involved and active in that activity that, like, it's a waste of my time. It's like cold calling.
Yeah.
How can I? And then I was like, ooh, interesting. Pinned post. And at the time, Ben Perry and I were going back and forth. I had created this amazing pinned post, and it was all this info, and it was step by step by step. It was like a cheat sheet. Like, here's what this is about, and here's what you're going to get, and here's a thing that you can have, and all. It was amazing. The problem is like anything, one giant piece of content, people have a really hard time getting through that. Ben and I went back and forth, and we were testing and adjusting and testing and adjusting, because he had kind of the same thing, and I kind of stole the idea, like, to make mine the way I did based off of his.
Same.
Right. So I'm looking at this going, okay, if I send a brand new person in my world an email that's got like 9,000 words and like 16 different actions that they need to take, they're never going to get through that email. 1 in a million people will actually go through everything, right? And that one person will be the only one that doesn't need to buy my shit, right? So how can I get somebody through a process in a way that is interesting, is cool, is marketing, is really high level? Like, don't just listen to what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what if I turned this process into basically a soap opera sequence email, but put it in my Facebook group? Mm-hmm. It's been amazing. We've built a really, really nice, very high quality email list, because here's a thing, give me your email, and the open rates are through the roof and the read rates are through the roof, and it's amazing. And we've gamified the orientation process to come into our world. So that's why we did it. That's what it is. And this is just one version of it. We're currently implementing another type of content funnel through our business page, and another type of content funnel through a couple of other things that I'm not quite ready to share with the world. Tori, you and I can totally talk about this offline, but we're testing stuff. Content funnel does this. It has a sales conversation with all of your prospects without you having to be there. And the people that come through that process and end up in your world or on the phone with you or having messenger conversations back and forth, they want it, they need it, they want you to deliver it for them, they know how much it costs, they want to buy it, they want to start now. That's the purpose. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I think you explained that so fucking well.
Boom!
Guys, so even though I forgot to mention this in the beginning, even though this looks like it's being streamed live, this is actually pre-recorded. Let us know if you have any questions, though. Go ahead and drop them in the content. If you have any questions about anything Landon just said, tag him or tag me, or I'll be here as it's streaming live. Replay viewers, same thing. Drop your questions and stuff in the comments. anything that you want to catch up on or be refreshed on, I got you. Now, one thing that I think, so for those who aren't in your group, those who are in your group, I think will totally understand what you're saying. For those who aren't, let's kind of give them a more specific, like, overview description of what your content funnel looks like. The treasure hunt, like, what is your customer journey?
Sure. So when you request to join our group, you're asked the 3 questions like most group owners who are smart do. Mm-hmm. Currently, we're using that. We're going to be using something else, but currently we've been using that. And our 3 questions are set up to give you a little bit of info on what you're going to get so you want to be in the group. And one of the questions is will you go through our treasure hunt? It starts in the pinned post, yes or no. Okay, so they answer those questions, and then we let them in the group. And then the cover photo of the group is like, hey, whoa, slow down. Before you do anything, click here. They click on that cover photo, and in the description, we link to the pinned post, right, in case they weren't thinking or paying attention. And we're constantly driving people to the pinned post. And the pinned post in a Facebook group, if you don't know this, is a post that you pin, and it gives you like all of the really required pertinent info is what it should be used for. Mm-hmm. Ours leads them through, do this, don't do this. Here's what this is about. Here's why you should want to be here. Here's why we care about you. Click here. And then that click here link goes to a welcome video where I go into like currently it's like a 7.5, 8 minute video. I welcome the people. I tell them what it's about, what we do here, what we don't do here. It's an orientation of what the group is and who I am. They get their first real feel of me. In that post for that video, it links them to another thing, which is who we are, because there's 4 of us. I'm the face of this monster, but there's 4 of us. That's a really super short post with a picture, really cool picture of us. Mm-hmm. Then in that post, it says, here's the next step in the treasure hunt. And all of these do this. And that leads them to another post that gives them a little bit more info so they can qualify if they like this or not. That post leads to another. That post leads to another. That post leads to another. That post leads to a thing where it's like educating them on the most important thing you as a business owner or a salesperson need to know is who your client is. We take it a step further based on my personality. I say you need to determine who it is that you want to work with within your potential market based on who you actually want to work with. I don't like people being late. Sorry, Tori. Now, right? So, and then we give them a workbook. This is an amazing tool, and we sell it as such. It's free, but we sell them on they need it. So they get it. They give us their email. Now we can have a conversation with them off the platform. That first email that they get then leads them to the next step in the treasure hunt. They can't go to that next step in the treasure hunt if they don't open that email. And we can see all that through tracking who does and who doesn't, right? Quality over quantity. And it continues. There's another 5 or 6 steps after that. And they actually, at the end of that, get another big prize that we tell them, hey, don't tell everybody that you got this, because those who go through this process should get rewarded, and those who don't aren't quality. Sorry, it's being real. So the purpose of this is to bring them up to speed. Their customer journey is, oh, if I like this, oh, if this makes sense, oh, this can help me. It's all them centered on helping them get over a hurdle or 2 and bring them into our world, much like you would at a barbecue, right? And if you're at a barbecue at a friend's house and there's 15, 20 people in that backyard, and a friend that you've known for 100 years brings a new person over, and you start having chit-chat back and forth conversation, that is introducing each other to determine if you should continue having conversations.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. And that customer journey gets them to the point where they go, wow, I got to win here. I got to win here. I got to win here. I got results. They even like told me how to go get clients. And I went and did the thing, and it was super easy, and I got 2 clients. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they have something for sale that can like teach me way more than that. I want that. Where do I put my money? That's why we do it.
Yeah, and it works too. What it does, what content funnels do, is they rapidly build know, like, trust in a very automated manner, right? And so by the end, guys, if you build a content funnel, by the time somebody gets through your content funnel, your ideal person who has qualified themselves to get all the way through, which we're going to dive a little bit deeper on that because you explain that kind of stuff really fucking well, Landon. They should know you. They should like you. They should trust you. You should have already like over delivered and surprised them and really just kind of welcome them into your world and given them an opportunity to know your ideology, your philosophy around your thing. And they should be all in on it. And they're going to be like perfectly qualified to buy your shit. And they're going to be happy to buy your shit at that point if you do it right. And the fact that for years before we had the technology that we have today, people were doing this, but they were doing it just like you said earlier, spending their time cold calling, getting on the phone, having all of these long drawn out conversations with people one by one. You create the perfect content funnel. You can have those relationships kind of at scale and automate that entire process. One of the most important pieces to a content funnel, though, is definitely like the qualifiers and the pre-frame. How do you guys go about that process of like qualifying your perfect person? Let's talk a little bit more about, and I know where this is going to start with. It's going to start with knowing who you are. We've had those conversations, but explain it for the group, because a lot of these guys, I haven't interviewed you since I was at like 100 members, like the group was a baby. Now we're at over 1,100. A lot of these guys don't understand this stuff yet. So let's talk about it.
Okay. I'm gonna try and do this in a very simple, very quick way. Okay. So if you have questions, those of you that are watching, if you've got questions on this that are specifically pertaining to me, tag me in it. I'm in the group. It's one of the only other groups that I follow at all. Okay. Oh. Here's the deal. The most important thing on the planet, in my opinion, are relationships. The most important relationship on the planet is the one you have with yourself. Okay. Self-awareness, self-discovery, and becoming a better person is like the main thing I believe all of us should work on. Now, regardless of if you agree with that or not, if you understand who you are, not who you want to be, but if you understand who you are, you have likes, dislikes, tolerances, intolerances, values, ideas, and opinions. If you can understand those and you can look at relating from this standpoint, I'm just going to be me and I'm going to let the world know who I am, how I am, why I am, what I believe in, and what's important to me. If I can express that to the world, then the people in the world out there that on their own naturally relate to that, align with that, agree with that, and like that are going to continue coming further and further into my world. And the people that don't, I never have to deal with. Almost never. That's the purpose of this. Okay. The purpose of doing cold calling or cold emailing or knocking on doors is to try and find somebody who is willing to do business with you. That's fantastic. We as a society are at the point where we're making buying decisions based on whom it is that we can relate to, which builds know, like, and trust. So if you start with yourself and you figure out those things, likes, dislikes, tolerances, intolerances, what you value, what you don't, what your opinions are, and you plant that flag and you tell the world, here's my fucking flag, and this is where I'm planting it. And I don't care if you don't like it. And if you do like it, awesome. Let's talk. If you can do that, you're going to end up with people that are like, that's me too. This is exactly what I think. This is how I feel. I totally agree. Yes. They're really easy to have a conversation with about the thing that you do because they're already looking for that. And now they found you. And guess what? You ain't got to sell anybody anything, like, ever. Does that make sense? Okay, now this content funnel thing is a really interesting animal. It's not entirely new, but the reason that we're doing this and structuring this way is because we've we've come to a perfect storm where people don't have time. People are looking for people that help them, guide them, teach them, get them results. Huh?
Sorry, breaking up there for a second.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I think you're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We're at a perfect storm where people don't have time, but we're all looking for help, guidance, people that can get us a result, knowledge, info, insight, perspective. We're looking for guides, and we're basing our decision on who we choose to guide us based on who we can relate to. Our BS meters are really sensitive because we've gone through the hardcore sales process for 70, 80, 90 years. So we're using content based on who we are, putting that out into the world to do the fishing for us so we can focus our time on our clients.
Yep. And those clients, if you attract the right people to you, I think the biggest perk for me that I love about that isn't just the fact that you don't have to do any selling. It's so much easier. Your stuff just kind of like gets bought. So much easier, but it's also the fact that they're not as much of a headache after they buy your shit.
Bingo. So at the very beginning of this, you asked me to explain who I am. I'm not a saint. Okay. I try and be a really nice person, but I was a sales guy for the purpose of money getting. And in that process, when I brought a client on, I had to deal with them month ever after. Mm-hmm. So if I brought myself a headache because I didn't relate with this person, I truly ended up not liking them, I had a giant headache on my hands. It was a selfish reason that I went about changing this process. But the process makes it so much easier. And when you and your clients actually relate and get along and build a relationship, they pay you way more money.
Oh, yeah.
They support you. They send you referrals. They do what you and I do, Tori. We've built a relationship, a real relationship on being our real people. That's how this works really, really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the no headache factor. I think when for the first few years I started, I was very much in the whole, I think it's like an employee mindset. Like when you work for a company and the company says, this is how we treat our customers, fuck who you are. This is how we treat our customers, period. End of story. Customers always right kind of deal. I think I still held on to that for a few years. And I finally made the switch. I don't even remember what my epiphany moment was. I think I was just sick and tired of feeling like I was taking people's shit all the time, honestly. And so I made a switch where I decided not to. And it was a process. It was a growing process. But now being fully out of that and actively only seeking to surround myself with people that I legitimately fuck with on a personal level. You know what I mean? I don't have any complaints about any of the people that I'm working with. Whereas before I had so many complaints about almost every client that I took on because I was taking them on for the money, not necessarily because I like them or because we actually got along. I was just I know that I can work this project, but we just ended up bumping heads or we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And I'm like, this is awful. So it's huge to what Landon's talking about in terms of figure out who you are, be self-aware. That is humongous when it comes to finding the right people to work with, because now I am so much more productive. I am making so much money. I'm just getting so much more shit done, having so much more of an impact, surrounding myself with people who fit my quirks. I'm really introverted. I'm not a very social person. I'm not in this group doing lives every day. I'm in here as often as I can stand to be, right? Talking to people and stuff like that. But I'm not in here all the time. And everybody who's in this group, they get it. And they're just you guys are just okay, Tori's not around today, but she'll be back soon. And she'll drop some value when she comes back. And I love that. But that's one of my quirks. Whereas the gorillas, you guys are in your group all the time. I think I saw Ash say something about it. It's like a full-time job for you guys sometimes. Mm-hmm. But you guys have that social endurance and you guys have a team behind it to be able to make that happen. So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's okay to have your own style. Now, objectively speaking, in terms of the funnel, what are the kind of things that you do to get to the no? As you said, you want to get to the no as fast as possible for the people you don't want to work with. So what are some objective things that you do to get to that no?
Right. So I know that my language and my style and my demeanor is either, to use your terminology, very endearing or very off-putting. I leverage that, right? Meaning I don't overdo it. I'm not being way more of this character that is Landon.
Mm-hmm.
I am certainly letting that freak flag fly. And I qualify people on a couple of very basic human characteristic levels. If you're not real, go away. If you can't be honest with yourself, go away. If you don't respect yourself, go away. That plays into almost all of the stuff that's important to me. I'm not looking for fakery. I'm not looking for people that can't be real. Okay, I get it. Like, you don't like the foul language. You've got little kids around. Put your fucking headphones on. Like, if it's that big of a deal, then go away. And that's kind of my that's kind of my point, right? I have opinions on how to go about getting clients that not everybody agrees with.
Mm-hmm.
I throw rocks at that regularly. And I don't do it in a way where I'm like trying to get attention for it, but I let it be known that if you step on somebody to take their money, you're in the wrong. And that's not what humans as a species deserve from one another. It's part of the reason that we don't get along on a global scale and fight in war is because we can't communicate. Cool. Right. You don't like me? I don't like you either. Take care. Like, why are we still having a conversation? So I use those pieces and I formulate my content around the values behind that to explain what I'm talking about. Let me give you an example. I love eggs for breakfast and dinner sometimes. I like eggs cooked a certain way. I don't like eggs that have the runny white stuff on them at all, but I like my yolks not hard. Everybody can totally understand that picture was just painted in their mind. If I look at my thing that I do that I can help the world with from that same perspective and explain it in that way, I am objectively giving people the information they need to say. For me, not for me, I'm going away. Mm-hmm. For me, where do I put my money?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. How'd you guys get to the point of like carving out you guys have like a bit of a blue ocean concept that I think has helped you attract a lot of people. You have, and guys, for those of you who don't know what I mean when I say blue ocean, so looking at a saturated market like sales, people who are teaching sales and marketing these days, very saturated, is like looking into a red ocean. It's bloody because there are a bunch of sharks in the water, but that's where the food is. And if you want to get in there and you don't want to have to fight with all the other sharks in the water, you got to carve yourself a piece of blue ocean. You got to create your own space. What a lot of people don't realize is that the blue ocean is located somewhere inside of the red ocean. You have to get through the red to get to the blue. I think a lot of people don't understand that yet. I actually just made a cheat sheet about it. It'll be released here soon. But how did you guys find yours? Because it's very concise. It's very clear, getting clients without being salesy. A lot of people think they need to learn sales. No, you just need to learn how to get clients. There's a different way. That's the blue ocean illustrated. How did you guys find that? And how do you guys like kind of illustrate that in your content funnel without like aside from the title of the group itself? Because I think obviously that's a big one.
Sure. Well, there's 4 main things you need to understand when you select your marketplace. There's got to be a lot of them. Mm-hmm. They've got to be easily reached, and they've got to be like overly passionate about your topic or your product or your service or the result that you can get for them. And then I add another piece to that. They've got to be somebody that I would get along with. They've got to agree with my way of seeing things. Mm-hmm. When I look at the sales thing, and I was like dragged into this. I never wanted to teach sales because I have such a different take on it. Okay. When I looked at the marketplace and I said, okay, there's got to be a lot of them. They've also got to have the ability to pay me. I only want to deal with people that actually want to help and impact the world in a positive way without being sorry guys, my language, douche canoes about doing it, right? And I wanted to be able to provide those people who want to do the right thing, who are struggling in this area that I really know about, a way that they can circumvent having to be that what's commonly considered a douchebag salesperson to get the sale. I was like, okay, lots of people coach and consult and advise. Lots of people have an expert. Lots of people have a genius zone that the world needs. Those people are experts at that thing. They're not experts at sales. Can I teach them the traditional sales method without being a douche canoe? Totally. But that's the long path. Do you want to get clients like right now today? Or do you want to learn how to get clients for 18 months from now? Pick one. Right? So I looked at that marketplace and I was like, okay, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this entire genre of sales training all teach this style. They're all going that way. How can I go that way? Because that way is the blue ocean. I'm serving the exact same people. I'm actually giving those people a thing that they want way more than all of this traditional shit. And I do it in a way where I have all of the knowledge about this stuff and tell them that I don't agree with that, but that's not why I'm not teaching you that. I'm teaching you this because this is faster and pays better.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I kind of explain that to my tribe, to the people that come into our world, is basically that, thanks to you helping me figure out the messaging piece to it. If you're in Tori's world and you're having a problem connecting with your marketplace, fucking talk with her about messaging. As my messaging has gotten more clear and more clear and more clear, I've really built a blue ocean, because here's the thing. I don't want to work with weak people. I don't want to work with people that are afraid of asking for the money. I don't want to work with the people that hide from the sales conversation. I want to work with the people that are totally okay doing that, and they want an ethical way to do that. So I've even narrowed my blue ocean down to an even better, darker, deeper blue ocean, because those people have more money. Those people have more impact. Those people take action. That's who I want. Yeah.
And I think everybody's blue ocean, and like the way that you view your audience and your ICA just kind of evolves over time. Would you agree with that? I think that for everybody, their ICA evolves over time.
I'm actually right now re-recording one of the videos in that module, because as you grow, as you change, as you evolve, you should continue rising on your path. And therefore, the people you're guiding on your path are also becoming higher level, higher level, higher level. And therefore, that ICA totally evolves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in my world come in and they go, oh, I've got to pick 6 of them like right now. And like, I can't move on until those 6 are figured out. Oh. And they evolve.
Yeah, for sure. So we've talked a lot about the type of substance that you want within your content funnel. I know a lot of people who are watching this are going to have questions about the tech end of it.
Sure.
What all do you guys use as far as tech, and why did you choose those specific things? What benefits do you see in those platforms? Where to place your funnel itself?
Sure. Our market and everybody else's market is on Facebook. Now, their intent on Facebook may change. Your market's on Facebook. Their intent when it comes to you may be LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube or wherever.
That's a great way to put it.
Our marketplace is on Facebook. They're looking for our solution on Facebook. So our core hub is Facebook. We use Facebook plus ClickFunnels plus ActiveCampaign plus Kajabi. We also use YouTube, and we're heading in the direction of LinkedIn for a further out aspect of this. The tech of it, keep it simple. Like seriously, it is simple. The next question for the people that are watching this should be, okay, cool, then what's the content? You need to understand this. The content that you create is every piece of content you create is a lead magnet in and of itself, and every piece of content you create is a lead magnet in conjunction and plus another piece of content. Every piece of content you create does the qualifying of that potential, okay? Here's the next big piece of this. All of the content that you create is going to accomplish these 4 things. It's going to introduce them to either you or the problem or the solution or how to get it. Okay. It's a sales conversation. Every piece of content is going to do one or more of these different pieces. And the reason for that is because we need to introduce them to either us as the one that provides the solution that they're aware of because they know that they've got a problem, or it introduces them to a problem they didn't know and then presents a solution, right? It's covering these pieces, but the sales conversation is this: introduction, qualify, why it's a benefit and what the benefits are, commonly called turning features into benefits, and then gaining commitment. All of your content that you create, it doesn't need to be put together in some elaborate schemed kind of way like we've done our treasure hunt. Eventually, you will get to that point the more you understand your market and the conversation they need to have with your content without you being there. That will evolve. How was that?
Makes sense.
Okay.
How do you guys decide on like specific content topics, like headlines and stuff that are going to attract your audience?
I know my market. I know the people in my market that I can attract. And then within that group of people, I know whom I want in my world. And those people I understand so well that I know their language about what it is that they want. It's not what I call it. It's what they discuss about that topic.
Write that down, guys.
That main result, that big ass want that they're looking for, they're discussing it in their own head to themselves and out in public, generally not by the terms that you call your big ass result. That big ass result that they want, if they want a breakthrough in their health, okay, they don't call it a breakthrough in their health. Make sense? Now, the stuff that supports that are all of the supporting pillars, subtopics. If you look at this like a book, that big ass want is the title of the book. And then the chapters are the pillars. And then the stories that happen within those chapters are the milestones. I know that's kind of high level and some of you are going to be like, what the fuck? Understand this. If I want eggs for breakfast, right? I might want duck eggs, and I might want duck eggs cooked a certain way, right? If you're telling me that you can serve me eggs for breakfast, great. Everybody can serve me eggs for breakfast. You tell me that you can serve me duck eggs. Now I'm interested. You tell me that you know how to make those duck eggs the way that I really, really like them. I'm listening. You've got my full attention. Now, if you can then, those duck eggs that are amazing and they're organic and they were from this morning and they're cooked the way that I want, and oh, by the way, they're with sausage and toast and orange juice, if you can convey that information to me, you've got me for breakfast. Make sense? Makes
total sense. Guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, tag us in them. The bit that you said about language, the language that they use, is a huge bit that I find a lot of people missing. A lot of people, especially when you're like trying to position yourself as an expert and you want to sit in the expert seat and you know about this thing, you speak, Russell Brunson calls it technobabble. You speak about it a certain kind of way that makes sense to you at a higher level. But those who are just coming into your world, they don't know shit about this thing that you know much more than them about. They have completely different terminology. Do you guys have any like specific strategies for getting over that? And then I'll tell them a little bit about a thought that I had.
Yep.
Actually, about how to describe it.
Determine who you can serve. Determine who you want to serve that's in that market. Look around in groups that are talking big topic, what you do. Go into those groups and look around and pay attention, and don't jump out and do anything yet. And feel the vibe of the room and see if this is a place that you would like to enjoy hanging out and participating in. If you relate with the overall vibe of that group, then the people that you can serve are in there. The people that you want to serve are in there. And it's around the main topic that you talk about. Mm-hmm. Go hang out and watch. Bite your tongue, shut your mouth, go stand in the corner and just watch.
Wallflower.
All of the major things that you can help people with, are called this. If you watch for their conversations around these topics, they will tell you the way they talk about that. That, unprompted by you, is their language about it. You gather their language about it and you start seeing patterns in this group and this group and then this group. And then those three groups kind of have a pattern like this. And these other two groups are kind of patterned like this. You got to watch. You got to understand your people.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it.
For those of you who don't know, when I first started this group, it was a blogging group. So it was blogging for entrepreneurs. Now it's content mastery for entrepreneurs. And I was really targeting bloggers who wanted to monetize and grow into business owners. And so I would hang around. I knew the term lead magnet. I'd heard the term freebie here and there, but I really stuck by the term lead magnet because I was in marketing world. Blogging was like my roots, but I was in marketing world at this point. So I was very accustomed to that specific term. I noticed that in blogging community specifically, that term wasn't carrying a whole lot of weight. And so I started paying attention in the groups. I went to the group, I wallflowered, I paid attention. I hung around a little bit. I asked a few questions, got people talking. I noticed that in blogging world, they call them freebies. They don't call them lead magnets. I use the word freebie. Everybody starts paying attention just because you're speaking their language. And so that's why I say it's like very, very important when it comes to messaging, when it comes to content. Make sure that you reach out to your audience on their level, speak their language. And then over time, you can teach them as you're bringing them up to your level, you can teach them your language. I still prefer the term lead magnet. So I'd rather teach what that means. Mm-hmm. Speak my language. I think it's more accurate versus freebie. I think they connote very different things. I'm really picky when it comes to words. It makes sense to me to put the right words out there for the right thing. But I thought that was like a really, really awesome point that you made. I think that's all of the questions that I have. I'm sure the group is going to have a ton of questions. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say? And of course, one more time, let them know where they can find you and how they can hang out with you. Tell them about your course. Tell them whatever you want to tell them.
Cool. Awesome. If this makes sense and you think that we would get along at somebody else's barbecue, then come join us in our group, Getting Clients Without Being Salesy. This logo and that logo are like everywhere. It's not real hard to find. The course that we teach is specific for people that are interested in learning how to get clients without having to learn all of the technobabble crap about being a good salesperson. If you're a highly trained salesperson and you value relationships and the long game, you're welcome to. The last thing that I will say is the more you communicate with your marketplace on I don't have an agenda, let's just talk, the more you will understand them. The more you understand them, the more money you will make. And those who can understand their market better than anyone else and convey their market's issues, wants, and desires to them better than they can do it themselves are the ones that become the stars in that marketplace.
Yep.
That's what I would say.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us today, Landon. You are perfect. Love you very much. Tell Ash the same. Ash is like perfect +1.
She's fucking rad.
She is.
Thank you, Tori. Love you too.
Thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Guys, thank you so much for showing up today. If you have any questions, again, drop them in the comments, tag us. We'll answer them. Landon, thank you. Talk to you later.
Cub Scout.